our bodies and the world around us share many quiet, unseen connections. Let the soft rhythm of these thoughts carry you away, so settle in, and let's get comfortable. Fact 1. When we look at the nourishment nature provides, we might notice how rarely we see certain colors on our plates. Nature almost never makes blue food, leaving us with a curious absence in our daily life. It makes us wonder about the quiet choices of the natural world. So next time you grab a blueberry, will you see red or blue? It is a gentle question to hold in your mind as you drift off, thinking of the simple colors that sustain us. Fact 2. From the food we consume, we turn our thoughts to the air we breathe and the tiny things we might inhale. Sometimes, a microscopic needle enters our body and never leaves your lungs, resting there forever in the quiet spaces. It makes us ponder the modern materials that surround us. So if sharp fibers are everywhere, is durability the most dangerous trait of all? We look at the strength of these tiny things, lasting long after they have entered our inner world. Fact 3. Just as we try to understand the invisible threats within us, we also use stories and figures to make sense of the larger world we live in. In our collective conversations, Trump was officially compared to Godzilla, bringing a legendary creature into our modern thoughts. It shows how we look for patterns in leadership and nature alike. So is this comparison brilliant science, or just a monstrous stretch? It is a curious thought, merging our modern reality with old stories of giants. Fact 4. Beyond the stories we create, the Earth itself holds deep secrets, waiting quietly under the green canopy of the world. We now know that hundreds of ancient cities hide under the Amazon, completely covered by the slow growth of time. It makes us think about the vastness of human history. If the jungle hid this for centuries, what else remains undiscovered beneath the trees? We can only wonder about the silent ruins resting in the deep shade. Fact 5. As we look back at those lost civilizations, we might also ponder the delicate nature of the systems we rely on today. We find ourselves asking quiet questions about the stability of our own modern world. What if the US government never reopens? It is a thought that invites us to contemplate the permanence of our societies, and how quickly the structures we take for granted can fall silent, much like the cities of the past. Fact 6. While our human systems can feel fragile, the natural world often operates under its own peaceful, unexpected rules. In the deep blue of the ocean, a diver can find themselves surrounded by a swirling wall of life. Thousands of deadly barracudas won't attack you, choosing instead to glide by in perfect, silent harmony. It reminds us that danger is not always what it seems, and that peace can exist in the most surprising places of our world. Fact 7. From the peaceful predators of the ocean, we sometimes try to capture the true intensity of land predators in our creative works. In the realm of storytelling and cinema, filmmakers sometimes go to great lengths to find a sense of true reality. This film used a real jaguar, bringing the genuine presence of a wild animal into the frame. It connects us back to the raw, untamed forces of nature that still run through our history and art. Fact 8. Just as we bring wild animals into our films, we also shape the green world to honor our human figures. In a quiet public space, nature and art come together in a very physical way. Chile's park has a 23-foot plant statue, standing tall as a green monument shaped by human hands and growing leaves. It is a peaceful reminder of how we try to merge our own image with the living, breathing plants of the earth. It is interesting to note how 6 distinct biomes can fit inside one province. Fact 10. From the diverse landscapes of our world, we return to the intimate landscape of the human heart and the difficult choices of life and health. Even those with the greatest power must face the fragile reality of human birth. One emperor chose his wife over his heir, prioritizing her survival during a time of great pain. So how much suffering is too much, even for an emperor's legacy? It leaves us with a quiet thought on the true value of love and human life. Fact 11. When we consider how human lives are shaped by the choices of those in power, we find ourselves looking back to a cold season in the year 1356, when an English prince led his mounted army deep into the quiet fields of France. Rather than trying to capture the great walled cities, his soldiers rode swiftly through the countryside, setting fire to everything they encountered along the way. This devastating approach slowly broke the spirit of the nation without ever meeting its defenders in a major battle. as King John II of France had instructed his large army to remain back and avoid the invaders. The prince and his men marched 675 miles all the way to Narbonne, leaving the economy in ruins, which makes us wonder, if an enemy burned your lands, would you choose to stay back, or would you rise to fight? Illegal filing against the pet food brand known as the Farmer's Dog highlights significant differences between advertised nutritional values and the actual contents. Although the company markets its dog food as containing between 4.5 and 8% fat, a class action lawsuit contends that 3 out of 4 recipes exceed 25% fat on a dry matter basis. Measured as metabolizable energy, the fat content reportedly rises above 40%, supplying more than 45 grams of fat for every 1,000 kilocalories. According to the complaint, incorporating higher amounts of fat allows the manufacturer to reduce production costs. This is because fat is less expensive per calorie than carbohydrates or proteins, while simultaneously increasing calorie density and taste. Routine blood tests do not always reveal the complete condition of our cardiovascular system. A person can have low-density lipoprotein cholesterol levels that barely cross into the high range, around 111 milligrams per deciliter, while still harboring major blockages in key blood vessels. For instance, the left anterior descending artery can become heavily clogged without causing any outward symptoms. A specialized chest scan, called a coronary artery calcium scan, can find this hidden buildup, sometimes showing blockages that exceed 90% of individuals in the same age group. When we find this early, the obstruction can be controlled through daily management, including dietary changes, statin medication, and a low dose of aspirin around 81 milligrams, helping to prevent severe cardiac events. Fact 14. The way our bodies protect themselves from harm begins in the very earliest stages of our lives, long before we are old enough to understand our own health. Young children often instinctively refuse to eat green vegetables and turn away from foods they do not recognize, because their highly sensitive taste buds register bitter flavors as a natural warning of poison. This gentle reluctance was once a vital survival tool, as thousands of years ago, wandering children would often eat wild berries and toxic leaves by mistake. Choosing bland, calorie-rich foods guaranteed they received safe energy without the danger of plant poisoning. And as the brain matures, the body naturally sheds this sensitivity so adults can enjoy a variety of rich nutrients, leaving us to wonder if you were once a quiet, picky child, or if you always ate your vegetables. Researchers wanted to understand what motivates train passengers to offer their seats to others. To test this, they sent a pregnant actress onto a crowded commuter train. Under normal conditions, only 37% of passengers offered her a seat. However, the researchers then introduced a unique new variable by sending a second actor onto the train, fully dressed as Batman. He did not say a word, but simply stood quietly near the door. Interestingly, the rate of passengers offering up their seats increased dramatically. With Batman standing nearby, over 67% of commuters stood up for her. This interesting phenomenon suggests how heroic symbols can subconsciously nudge us toward altruism, showing how such symbols might make the real world a slightly better place. Fact 16. This desire to guide and assist others in the darkness can be seen in the physical beacons we build to light our way through the night. In the city of Cincinnati, Ohio, a company called Carlisle Finch was established around 1893 or 94, dedicating itself to the craft of making powerful searchlights. Throughout its long history, the company focused primarily on creating these lights for ships navigating the open waters, though their designs eventually found a purpose far beyond the sea. These same searchlight variations began serving as vital navigation beacons at lighthouses and quiet airports, guiding travelers safely home through the mist, which leaves us to ponder how these marine lights were adapted to sweep across the night sky and guide those flying high above the earth. Fact 17. Long before modern lights guided our journeys, ancient cultures crafted their own symbolic objects to navigate the mysteries of life and the transition beyond it. In the year 1976, within the quiet tomb of Fu Hao in Anyang, Hunan, researchers uncovered a pair of beautiful bronze vessels known as zun. Created during the Shang dynasty, these ancient works are a remarkable example of how the quiet, watchful owl was woven into sacred bronze pieces used for rituals. Today, these two vessels rest in separate places, with one preserved in the Hunan Museum and the other cared for by the National Museum of China, leaving us to wonder what deep, spiritual role the image of the owl played in the sacred ceremonies of those long-forgotten days. Walking just a short distance away from an airport terminal can substantially change the fare quoted by rideshare services. Upon landing at the airport in Rochester, New York, a traveler looking for an 89-mile trip was initially quoted $280 from Uber and $310 from Lyft. By simply walking 0.6 of a mile away from the airport premises, those prices dropped significantly to $184 on Uber and $169 on Lyft. This difference in price comes from added airport surcharges and the higher platform profit margins that rideshare companies collect at their official pickup zones. Fact 19. This constant balance between convenience and cost shapes not only how we travel, but also how we preserve the historical places where our culture was born. In downtown Boston, a historic brick building dating back to 1718 once served as a gathering place for some of America's most celebrated writers, including Ralph Waldo Emerson and Nathaniel Hawthorne. Though it was saved from being torn down decades ago, the landmark required commercial tenants to cover its high upkeep, and today, instead of a quiet museum, the space is a fast food restaurant where people order burritos in the very rooms where classic literature was written, making us wonder if you would enjoy eating your lunch in such a historic landmark, or if these sacred spaces should be kept entirely untouched. Investors felt a sense of panic when an internet giant's latest user metrics fell flat. Tech experts point to a single, rapidly rising competitor as the main cause. This change appears to be more than just a brief dip in the stock market. AI chatbots are now answering searches directly rather than directing people to forums. After all, there is less need to browse long discussion threads when an algorithm can provide the answer instantly. If this trend continues, the traditional text-based internet we have known might completely vanish, leaving us to wonder whether we will continue to search the web ourselves or let artificial intelligence do the reading for us. Fact 20. While we might look to machines to guide our minds, there are still physical boundaries that only the human spirit can seek to cross, much like the cold expanse of the Baltic Sea that separates Sweden and Poland. It was here that a Polish swimmer named Bartłomiej Kubkowski chose to test the limits of human endurance, aiming to become the first person to cross this brutal, freezing stretch of water. For over 50 consecutive hours, he battled relentless waves without a single break. Nearby support crews fed him warm liquids using a long, extended pole to sustain him through the cold. He completed his historic crossing, raising $200,000 for children's cancer treatment, making us wonder if we would ever risk our own lives in freezing water to protect the vulnerable. On an unusual date in 2024, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, resigned and fled the country. This event brought an end to her rule of 15 consecutive years, which totaled nearly 2 decades in power. This was not a simple, sudden political shift, but rather the climax of a deep national crisis. It arose from a non-cooperation movement, which is also referred to as the July Uprising. The movement grew rapidly from initial quota reform protests following the mass killings of civilians. Public anger was further fueled by economic mismanagement, corruption, and authoritarianism, leading to an upheaval that ultimately caused 2 decades of power to collapse. Fact 22. While human societies often struggle with conflict and the rise and fall of leadership, we sometimes find quiet examples of peace and harmony in the most unexpected corners of the natural world. In a quiet Russian zoo, a hungry, homeless cat slipped inside the cage of a giant lynx, searching simply for a bit of food. Instead of the fierce response one might expect from a wild predator, the massive wildcat began to gently lick the tiny stray's head, defying the known laws of animal nature. The two felines formed an immediate bond, sharing their daily meals and sleeping side by side. The zoo officially adopted the stray so the friends would never be parted, allowing them to live happily together for years, making us wonder if we could ever expect a fierce predator to become a cat's protector. Fact 23. This gentle bond of quiet companionship reminds us how deeply we seek connection. Though in our own modern lives, the way we observe and interact with one another has often been shaped by the sharp lens of media curiosity. A prominent figure in this world of public observation was Mario Armando Lavandera Jr., who built a highly visible media career under the name Perez Hilton. Operating as an American blogger and columnist, he drew millions to his platform dedicated to celebrity gossip, where tabloid photographs were decorated with his own custom captions and hand-drawn doodles. Over time, his blog faced significant public controversy, with many questioning its overall attitude and its former practice of outing individuals believed to be closeted celebrities, which ultimately expanded the reach of celebrity culture in modern media, leaving us to wonder what primary features and practices brought controversy to his celebrity blog. Fact 24. While some public platforms thrive on the fleeting nature of gossip, other individuals dedicate their lives to reshaping the fundamental structures of society to support those who are most vulnerable. Among them is Muhammad Yunus, a Bangladeshi economist and statesman who introduced deep changes to modern financial systems by pioneering the concepts of microcredit and microfinance. His efforts led to the creation of the Grameen Bank, earning him the honor of becoming the first person from Bangladesh to receive the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. Following the historic events of the July uprising, he was called upon to guide his nation, taking the oath as the fifth chief advisor to lead the interim government from 2024 to 2026, prompting us to reflect on the specific financial concepts he pioneered before receiving his Peace Prize. Fact 25. The path of leadership and intellectual contribution often brings immense public responsibility, where the standards of trust must be upheld at the highest levels of our cultural and academic institutions. This delicate balance was highlighted in the academic journey of Jason Arday, a British academic who was appointed as a professor of sociology of education at the University of Cambridge in 2023. With this prestigious role, he became the youngest black professor in the long history of the university, a milestone of great significance. However, in 2026, allegations arose regarding his professional conduct, including claims of plagiarism, research misrepresentation, and fabrications within his personal biography, which led to his resignation on August 6, 2026, leaving us to wonder how academic institutions formally evaluate such serious claims of misrepresentation and plagiarism. Fact 26. Just as academic institutions must weather the storms of public scrutiny and internal crisis, the physical world around us faces its own sudden, devastating shifts brought on by the powerful forces of nature. In early August of 2023, a series of wind-driven wildfires broke out across the beautiful island of Maui in Hawaii, consuming 17,000 acres of land and forcing widespread evacuations. The historic town of Lahaina was severely impacted by the fast-moving flames, which tragically claimed the lives of at least 102 people, leaving 2 others missing. This rapid destruction was driven by unusually dry and gusty weather, created when a strong high-pressure area to the north met the winds of Hurricane Dora passing far to the south, making us wonder how such distant weather systems interact to generate these powerful surface winds. Fact 27. Facing the aftermath of such natural crises reminds us of the critical need for steady leadership in public health and administration, where science and service must come together to protect communities. This intersection of science and public service is illustrated in the career of Abdul El-Sayed, an American epidemiologist and dedicated public official. From 2023 until 2025, he served as the director of the Department of Health, Human, and Veterans Services for Wayne County, working to support the well-being of its residents. Drawing upon his deep background in medicine and administration, he stepped further into the public eye as the Democratic nominee for the 2026 United States Senate election in Michigan, leaving us to consider the ways in which a background in epidemiology can help inform leadership decisions within public administration. Fact 28. The structured systems of public service and governance are supported by federal institutions that carry out the complex laws of the land, maintaining order and conducting inquiries at the highest levels. In 2022, this quiet authority was seen when federal agents executed a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago, the Palm Beach, Florida residence of former President Donald Trump. This action was carried out by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which serves as the principal law enforcement and domestic intelligence organization for the nation. Operating within the Department of Justice, the Bureau reports to both the Attorney General and the Director of National Intelligence, holding legal authority over more than 200 categories of federal crimes, including counterterrorism and counterintelligence, which makes us wonder how such an agency balances these specialized efforts with its broad criminal investigative duties. Fact 29. While federal investigations seek to uncover truths and enforce the law in quiet spaces, history is sometimes marked by sudden, tragic events that reshape our collective sense of safety and security forever. On the quiet winter evening of December 21, 1988, shortly after 7 o'clock, A transatlantic flight named Clipper Made of the Seas was destroyed in midair by an explosive device. The Boeing 747, traveling from Frankfurt to Detroit, was flying over the Scottish town of Lockerbie when the bomb detonated, taking the lives of all 243 passengers and 16 crew members. Debris fell into a residential street below, claiming 11 local residents and bringing the total fatalities to 270. It remains the deadliest terrorist attack in the history of the United Kingdom, leaving us to wonder what security changes were introduced across international airports following this tragic event. Fact 30. When we contemplate the sudden events that reshape communities, our minds often wander to remote corners of the world where quiet landscapes hide complex operations. In the late summer of 2019, on the 8th of August, an explosion occurred at the state's Central Navy Testing Range in the Russian Federation. This tragic incident took place near Nyonoksa, a small village that falls under the administrative jurisdiction of Severodvinsk within the Arkhangelsk Oblast. Often spoken of as the Nyonoksa radiation accident or the Arkhangelsk explosion, this event sadly claimed the lives of 5 military and civilian specialists, while leaving 3 other people injured. It makes one reflect quietly on the quiet administrative duties that a city like Severodvinsk carries out for the tiny, surrounding rural communities that rest on the edge of such vast, silent territories. Fact 31. From the real tragedies of our shared history, we often turn to the quiet spaces of artistic creation, where personal memories are reshaped into stories for others to watch. In the late summer of 2026, on the 5th of August, a new television project brought these fragile boundaries to light. An American teen thriller series titled The Shards made its premiere on FX and FX on Hulu. This creation arose from a close collaboration between Ryan Murphy and Bret Easton Ellis, adapting its story directly from Ellis's own semi-autobiographical novel of the same name. Watching such a narrative unfold invites us to gently wonder about the delicate techniques screenwriters must use when they attempt to translate the deeply personal, internal voice of a semi-autobiographical book onto the screen. Fact 32. It is a sobering aspect of our human journey that some narratives are not fictional, but are instead marked by moments of quiet sorrow and real-world gravity. In the warm summer of 2015, on the 8th of August, a painful standoff took place inside a home in northern Harris County, Texas, not far from Houston. A 48-year-old man named David Ray Conley III entered his former residence, holding 8 people hostage, including Valerie Jackson, Dwayne Jackson, Sr., and 6 children, one of whom was his own 13-year-old son. Over 9 long hours, this family was held before they were all tragically shot and killed, leading to a confrontation with arriving officers before the man surrendered. We are left to ponder the silent, strategic factors that guide law enforcement negotiations during such long hours. Fact 33. After reflecting on such heavy moments, we naturally seek comfort in the gentle portrayals of youth and connection that screen performances can offer us. The English actor Kit Sebastian Connor found a way to touch many hearts through his portrayal of a secondary school student named Nick Nelson in the Netflix teen series Heartstopper. The gentle show ran from 2022 until 2024 and concluded with a final film titled Heartstopper Forever in 2026. For his soft and moving performance, the actor received the inaugural Children's and Family Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Performance, and his dedication to the role brought another nomination for the 3rd season. It makes one think about the quiet elements that help a character resonate so deeply with young minds. Beginning in early May of 2010, heavy rainfall brought widespread flooding and severe landslides to China, affecting more than 230 million people across 28 provinces and regions. This intense rain led to devastating mudslides throughout the summer months. By the end of June, over 4 million residents had been evacuated from danger zones, especially after destructive landslides hit Guizhou. In early August, a catastrophic landslide in Zhuge County, within Gansu Province, claimed at least 1,471 lives and left nearly 300 people missing. Across regions such as Zhejiang, Jiangxi, and Hunan, rising waters displaced over 15 million citizens, and by late August, total fatalities from the summer storms had surpassed 3,100 people. Fact 35. Just as the physical landscape shapes where we live, our inner world of desire has always shaped the art and materials we choose to create. Throughout our long history, humans have crafted images and objects designed for intimacy and arousal, a practice that spans almost our entire existence. These creations have evolved gently alongside our technology, beginning far back in the Upper Paleolithic era with simple stone carvings and moving over time into drawings, written words, and eventually modern digital experiences like virtual reality. Often meant for adults, these materials are sometimes separated from what we call erotica, though that distinction remains deeply personal and subjective. We might reflect on how this ancient urge to share suggestive images remains a permanent, quiet thread in the tapestry of our culture. Fact 36. As we moved from stone carvings to modern technology, we also took to the skies, creating complex machines that carry us above the rivers and cities we call home. In 2009, a quiet afternoon was broken by a mid-air collision over the Hudson River between a light helicopter and a Piper airplane, an event that sadly took 9 lives. The helicopter, a single-engine utility aircraft known as the Squirrel, was originally designed by the French corporation Aerospatiale before being produced by Eurocopter, which we now know as Airbus helicopters. In North America, this single-engine model is called the Asta, while its twin-engine sibling is known as the Twin Star. It is a gentle reminder of the quiet complexities of flight and the names we give to the machines that watch over our cities. The story of Peter Parker continues with the 2026 film, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Produced by Columbia Pictures, Marvel Studios, and Pascal Pictures, this is the 38th entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the 4th film in this specific series, following the 2021 release of Spider-Man: No Way Home. Directed by Destin Daniel Cretton and written by Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, the story shows Peter keeping watch over New York City. Tom Holland returns as the young hero, alongside Zendaya, Sadie Sink, Jacob Batalon, and Mark Ruffalo. In this chapter, Peter faces a dual struggle, investigating a powerful new threat to the city while dealing with a sudden, potentially dangerous evolution of his own superhuman abilities. Fact 38. When we think of the incredible stories we create and the cities we build, we might look around at the other living creatures who share this planet with us and wonder about our place among them. It is a simple yet profound question to ask why humans are the only advanced civilization on this earth. We look at the forests, the oceans, and the skies, seeing beautiful complexity in nature, yet we do not see other species building cities or writing histories in the way we do. This leaves us to contemplate the quiet mystery of our own biological journey, and why our species stands alone in creating this modern world. Fact 39. Even within our advanced civilization, some of the most familiar things we wear every day took a surprisingly long time to appear in our history. We might look down at the simple garments we wear to sleep or rest, and ask ourselves a curious question about our past. Why did humanity take thousands of years to invent the humble t-shirt? It is a gentle reminder that even the simplest designs, which feel so natural to us now, required a long journey of human thought and quiet progress before they became a part of our daily lives. Fact 40. Just as our everyday clothing took so long to find its shape, so many moments of our shared culture are preserved not through deliberate planning, but by quiet, unexpected accidents. There is a peace in remembering how fleeting moments are sometimes saved for the future without anyone intending to do so. Like when a piece of vibrant rave history was accidentally captured by a Ukrainian news crew. They were simply there, recording the world as it moved around them, and in doing so, they preserved a joyful moment of human expression that would otherwise have faded into the quiet past. It makes us think about how much of our lives is captured when we are not looking, leaving behind a soft imprint of who we were, a gentle reminder of a time and place caught forever on tape. Fact 41. From the unplanned recordings of human life, our minds can drift to the quiet, natural order of the wild, where everything seems to have its own balanced place and purpose. In the quiet forests and still grasslands, we find that nature works with a gentle economy, never giving too many tools to a single creature. We see this quiet balance in the simple truth that venom and constriction never coexist in a single snake. A serpent will have one path or the other, but never both, as if there is a soft, unwritten rule that limits how they hunt and survive. It makes one wonder about the beautiful simplicity of these natural limits, where a quiet balance is kept, and no single creature is given more than it needs to live peacefully in its home. Fact 42. While the boundaries of the natural world bring a sense of balance, the rules made by humans have often brought quiet moments of struggle and deep reflection. We can think back to a time not so very long ago, and contemplate how a simple bond of love could be met with such hardship. In the year 1958, a man named Richard and his partner faced the quiet, heavy reality of being arrested simply for their marriage. It is a sobering thought to imagine a quiet home interrupted by the law, and to think of the courage it takes to stand by the one you love when the world says you must not. We can sit with the silence of that year, wondering about the long, slow journey toward a world where love is allowed to exist in peace. Fact 43. Just as the quiet stories of human lives are slowly brought into the light, so too are the lost remnants of our history eventually recovered from the deep, silent places of the earth. There is a stillness in the deep ocean, where things that have fallen remain undisturbed for decades, away from the constant movement of the world above. We feel this quiet mystery when we hear that a 1952 plane crash was found today, resting in the silent depths where it had remained hidden for so many years. To find such a relic today is like touching a distant moment in time, bringing a quiet closure to a journey that ended long ago, and reminding us of how the earth holds on to our stories until we are ready to find them. Fact 44. From the quiet depths of the sea where old vessels rest, our thoughts can travel even further back in time to the unexpected tools of history. When we think of the ancient warriors of Japan, we often imagine them with quiet, shining blades, moving in perfect silence through the gardens and halls of old castles. Yet, the reality of the past often holds surprising details that change how we see these figures, such as the fact that the samurai used massive hand cannons in their journeys. These heavy, powerful instruments of metal and smoke were part of their world, showing us a side of history that is far more complex than the quiet stories we usually tell ourselves, letting us wonder at the heavy weight of the past. Fact 45. Just as the reality of history can surprise us when we look closely, the way animals see the world around them is often entirely different from what we perceive. In the quiet green of the deep forest, a bright orange hunter might seem to stand out clearly to our eyes. Yet to the creatures that must watch for danger, the view is completely transformed. We find a quiet fascination in knowing that tigers look green to their prey, blending perfectly into the silent ferns and leaves because of how those animals see color. It is a beautiful reminder of how nature shields its creatures, showing us that what seems vibrant and clear to us is quietly hidden in plain sight from the eyes of those who walk the forest floor. Fact 46. From the quiet, green world of the forest where hunters blend into the trees, we can reflect on how those very forests have been treated by human hands over the years. There is a heavy stillness in thinking about the vast woodlands of the past, and how much of that ancient wood was lost before it could ever be used to build a home. It is a quiet, sobering thought to realize that 60% of North America's timber was immediately burned, turned to ash and smoke right after it was harvested from the earth. We can sit with the image of those great fires, burning quietly in the distance, and wonder at the sheer scale of what was lost in the early days of building our modern world. Fact 47. Just as different parts of the world have different relationships with their natural resources, the simple things we love and dislike are shaped by where we grow up. Even the stories we share with our children are gently adjusted to fit the quiet preferences of different cultures. We see this careful, thoughtful attention to detail in how stories are told, such as when Pixar erased broccoli in Japan's version of the movie Inside Out. By replacing the green vegetable with one that local children disliked more, they made sure the quiet feelings of the story felt true to everyone who watched, showing how even a small, green detail can be changed to help us connect with one another across the wide world. Many people wonder what is actually happening in the 5 to 10 seconds when you absolutely cannot do another rep at the gym, take an extremely short rest, and then can lift again. In 2018, a 14-year-old girl named Cindy Redmond had an air horn blasted into her ear by her friend's stepfather after she would not get off her phone. This caused her to develop hyperacusis, which is a rare hearing disorder that makes any small noise cause her immense pain. As we drift into a deep and peaceful rest, we can reflect on the quiet, delicate wonders of human biology and the gentle paths that keep our minds and bodies in balance. Thank you for listening. And if you found comfort in these stories, you are welcome to subscribe and join us for more peaceful journeys. As you close your eyes, you might let your thoughts wander to the next quiet exploration waiting for you in our next video. Until then, as your breathing becomes slow and even, we might wonder, how can we best cherish and protect the fragile, quiet systems that keep us well each day?